उसमें you also spoke about our capabilities, our naval capabilities. What do those capabilities look like? I mean, of course, as much as you can share कि हमारी Navy की जो capability है वो किधर stand करती है? What does it look like? Again, we know so much about the army and the military capability, the military might that we have. On our naval front in the seas, what does it look like?
I think we can gauge this very question from our latest episode with our eastern neighbor, and same goes for the Navy. So our Navy has been such a potent force in terms of selection of platforms, training, and its overall strategy against the aggression.
Right.
That during this entire episode, the other party did not have the courage to place any ships towards us. So that was our success. और यही चीज़ होती है डिफेंस की कि डिफेंस best defense is that the other party get defeated without fighting a war.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the Pakistan Observer podcast. मेरा नाम अब्दुल्ला मलिक है और मेरे साथ आज मौजूद हैं Vice Admiral Ahmed Saeed साहब. Ahmed साहब, thank you so much for being here and welcome to Pakistan Observer.
Abdullah, so very kind for having me in this very, I think, lively podcast.
Ahmed साहब, just off the bat, I want to understand कि because this is a 14th August special episode, पाकिस्तान का मतलब क्या है आपके लिए?
For me, Pakistan is एक नज़रिया है जिसके ऊपर हम चले. We trace back our history and then we come back to a conclusion actually. Pakistan is a conclusion of a struggle which took place over the years. And the idea was to create a land where we can create a sample of or semblance of a society which Muslims can look towards. So that is where I think we should look forward to and keep striving as a Pakistani.
And हम जिस foundations पे, as you also mentioned, जिन foundations पे ये मुल्क की base हुई, जिस पे हम बने, do you think we're upholding them today?
देखिए, I think इसमें improvement की गुंजाइश तो रहेगी, and the country is improving day by day. So इसमें एक चीज़ को मद्देनज़र रखना चाहिए, that is ज़र्फ़ और ज़रूफ़ की बात हम करते हैं. ज़र्फ़ is solid boundary of something, like there's a jug, and zaroof is in which you put on the things whatever you want to. So if you have this boundary and this country available, you can keep experimenting and keep improving your country's status towards what our forefathers have envisaged, जो उन्होंने एक नज़रिया दिया उसके ऊपर चलने के लिए.
Right.
लेकिन कंट्रीज़ की जो एवोल्यूशन है वो स्टेज वाइज होती है. तो मेरे ख़्याल में वी कैन डिबेट के वी शुड हैव बीन बेटर देन व्हाट वी आर, यस, बट वी कैन नॉट से दैट वी शुड नॉट प्रोग्रेस फर्दर बिकॉज वी डिड नॉट डू वेल. सो दिस इज़ एन एवोल्यूशनरी प्रोसेस. आई थिंक पाकिस्तान हैज़ अ स्पेसिफिक मेक ऑफ द सोसाइटी in which overall we have been experimenting with the type of governance, the type of ideology and all these kind of things. We made our mistakes, yes, of course. Some of them are very grave in terms of 71, in which half of our country was separated. So, but by and large I would say that we have learned from our mistakes.
Right.
And we keep learning.
Ahmed Saab, you've also traveled the world, right? You've been to many different places around the world. क्या हैं वो ऐसी चीज़ें जो पाकिस्तान को मुख्तलिफ बनाती हैं? They make the country a good country.
सबसे पहले, I think the first and the foremost is our culture, our open arms to the visitors, our willingness to help others, our strength of our society, specifically our respect for the elders and for as well as for the juniors.
Right.
So these are the basic cultural strengths. And if we go to the geography and if we go to the topography, तो उसमें the kind of environment we have, the kind of north is the highest peaks we had, then we have the plain lands of Punjab, then we have the desert, then we have the sea. So everything has been given to a country which is by the name of Pakistan. So this is the uniqueness of Pakistan, where you can have everything and anything which you want to experiment and which you want to do the best of the best for the world also.
Right. And आपके नज़रिए में क्या है future of the country? What does it look like? Should we be hopeful? Should we hope for a better future? क्या है पाकिस्तान का future?
I am very hopeful. Why? Because that when I interact with our youth, so I find they are very clear about where is our destiny, what we should do, what mistakes we have made, and what we shouldn't do it. So this is one of the greatest hope which is with me, and I am very, very hopeful in a way that you have the basic ingredients. That, as I told you, that हमारे पास वो तमाम नेमतें अल्लाह ताला की हैं, उन्हें अलाइन करना है. Alignment of the best practices of the successful nations.
Right.
तो वो जैसे जैसे हम इसको जितना जल्दी कर लेंगे उतना बड़ा हमारे पास पोटेंशियल अल्लाह ताला ने दिया है. बड़ी छोटी सी एग्जांपल कि मैरिटाइम नेशन होने के नाते हमारा टोटल जीडीपी का जो है तकरीबन 1 से 2 बिलियन के दरमियान बनता है. वेयर एज अगर नॉर्मल डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज़ के जीडीपी कंट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ मैरिटाइम पोटेंशियल की बात करें तो वो 8 to 10% है. दैट गोज़ अराउंड 35 to 40 बिलियन. तो अगर हम उस पोटेंशियल पे अपने आप को फ्रेम कर लें, तो मैं आपको सिर्फ एक एस्पेक्ट की बात कर रहा हूँ, इसके अलावा टूरिज़्म है, बहुत सारी चीज़ें, माइनिंग है, मिनरल्स हैं, हेल लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स आर देयर. सिर्फ उनको हमने उस तरीके से अलाइन करना है जैसे कि बाकी कंट्रीज़ ने किया, और दे प्रोपेल्ड एंड दे आर इनटू वेरी सक्सेसफुल नेशंस.
Right. So as I said in the start, I introduced you as Vice Admiral Ahmed Saeed Saab. We'll come to the Vice Admiral part a little later. लेकिन मैं समझना चाहता हूँ कि आपकी जो जर्नी है Ahmed Saeed, the young child, वो कहाँ पे शुरू हुई? Where were you born? How was your childhood like?
Like all the ordinary child, I was the same kind of a kid. I was born in a family of Pakistan Air Force. My father was in the Air Force. So from the beginning, a little advantage I would say that I had, that the family was a disciplined family, right? Getting up, going to school and coming back and doing all the works in a systematic manner. Number two, my upbringing started from the very beginning was St. Joseph School. So वहाँ की जो bring up I think वो थोड़ा सा different था. उसने भी एक greater tolerance I would say into the society के हवाले से मेरे अंदर बहुत सारी चीज़ें inculcate की. Because in the beginning I used to go to the church also and I used to go to the mosque also.
Right.
So not because it was just for the experiment I used to do. So इस तरह की चीज़ों से मेरे अंदर ये चीज़ें आप कह लें कि थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट हैं. हाउ डू आई सी दी इन द सोसाइटी. सो ये चीज़ें चलती रही और ये साथ साथ मेरे व्हेन आई वाज इन द मैट्रिक, तो आई चोज टू बिकम अ डॉक्टर.
Okay.
On a little influence from the family because we didn't have any doctor in the family.
ठीक है.
So pre-medical में आ गए and I started doing that. और उसमें जो चीज़ मुझे थोड़ी अच्छी नहीं लगती थी, that was doing practical on the toads. वो because उसको गरीब को बेहोश करके उसको काटा-पीट करना, that was a little difficult task for me. So but beside that I used to do the paintings also, and my second option I would say that inner call was that I should join the NCA. But in between a third option came into play, and that was joining the force, any of the and the Navy was why, because Naval Recruitment Center was closer to my college on the 6th Road in Rawalpindi. So I just appeared along with my cousin. So we got through. In the finals, he couldn't make it in the ISB, and I made it through. So of these three options, then I think parents prevailed. Okay, you should join the Navy. So that's how I joined the Navy, and I don't repent कि मैंने क्यों ज्वाइन की, because साथ साथ फिर मैं अपने जो बाकी शौक है वो भी चलाता रहा.
Right. So growing up, Ahmed Saeed Saab, you mentioned that discipline was a very important thing. Why do you say that? Kya importance there is for discipline? I'm asking this for the younger people. Why should we be more disciplined? Kya hai over your life that you've seen that importance?
I give a little example of Michael Phelps, the Olympic swimming champion who broke the record of 7 gold medals in I think 2008 Olympic in Beijing. So what he said was that discipline is the prerequisite of focusing your mind, your energies, and your time towards a greater cause. So if you take a big dream, so this is the precursor. This is the prerequisite for that. So that's the reason I think I say the discipline is the start. Even the universe is on a well-defined discipline. It is working. So everything, if we say it is with the seasons, with the time, and so occurrence of everything is with some timing and with some discipline.
Right.
So until unless you don't do that, the greater dreams cannot be achieved. That is the.
It's wonderfully said. Another thing that you mentioned that I found interesting was the choice that you have had. So up bachpan mein you used to go to the church and you also would go to the mosque. It was a choice that you were making, and you said you were just experimenting just to see. Kya hai importance of choice? Having that sort of choice, the freedom to actually make those choices for yourself. What do you think? How does that play a role in the longer term?
Choice में थोड़ा सा मैं इसको rephrase करूँ, because it is too early to say it was a choice. Rather, it was by some misunderstanding that I started going towards the church. So it actually contributed in a way that at certain age, your learning process is through guidance. As you grow, then your learning process is through experimentations. You do the failures, you have the obstructions, you have a lot of hardship, but those are actually the steps you must take to you would say the flourish your ideas, to consolidate your personality. So I would say the multiple dimensions in the life, one of them is venturing into the church life also, actually gave me a lot of different perspectives once I grew in my life. How the religions to be seen, how they improve your quality of life. As for us, Deen is a complete code of conduct. Right. So with comparison, you can learn about it, and you can have a better idea how to deal with it. So that is how I think it added to my personality.
The reason that I'm also asking you that question is because हमारे यहाँ पे I feel like choice is a little limited, and that's across the board. So for example, every few months कोई movie ban हो जाएगी because that challenges our social fabric. I feel like when you're not giving your people, the audience, the people of the country, the choice to decide कि आया उन्होंने वो movie देखनी है नहीं देखनी है, and then decide if they like it or not, you're limiting people. And that's why I kind of picked up on that कि you had that choice, you made those decisions, and as you just said कि it gives you a chance to have a different perspective, and then you become, in this case we're talking about religion, you become a better believer. You're like, acha, वो religion ये कह रहा है, वो लोग ये कहते हैं, but this is what I believe in and this is what I want to practice. So that's why I wanted you to sort of emphasize on that as well. Anyway, coming to your choice of joining the Navy, I understand that it happened by chance, but I mean, how? Like, how did you feel? Is that something that you just went in and आपने कहा कि try कर लेते हैं या क्या था? Was there like a bit of inkling over there?
इसमें एक दो इन्फ्लुएंसर्स भी आप कह लें, वो इस तरीके से कि माय अंकल who happens to be my father-in-law now, retired as a commander, so he was in the Navy.
Okay.
And before that there was one more uncle who was in the Navy. So we have had a little background of the Navy as well. So looking at them, I used to get certain inspirations. There used to be the white dress and goggles and all that. So it used to give me an inspiration also. Although I have also seen the Air Force side, and some of my uncles are in the Army also. So I had the a little, you would say, the insight of all three services.
Right.
So on this side, less was known. So I wanted to venture into where less I have known about the service.
The paths lesser traveled.
Yeah.
Lekin, so what's the process? I mean, if there's a young person who's wanting to join the Navy, kya hai? What's the first step? How do you get in? How does the recruitment process work like?
I think it's like the other services. Nothing very special. Need to know a little about the Navy. It's a working kind of ships they have. And but more important is the aptitude, I would say. Like one of the questions when the recruitment officer asked me, okay, what type of the ships the Navy has?
Yeah.
So what was my answer? I said there are little small, medium and large ships, and he laughed at it. So the point to coming to that is that being fair and frank in your conversation is very, very important. Not to be a kind of take a pseudo personality. वो वहाँ पे bust हो जाती है.
Right.
So if your make and your personality is according to requirement of these forces, you will get fit into it. And those who do not, they should not think of that they actually was rejected. Rather, they were not meant for the forces. This is my answer to them. Why? Because some of them, they get into certain kind of, I won't say the depression, but they do feel about it, that why we could not make it.
Naturally, yeah.
So this is, I would say that it is because अल्लाह ताला ने बहुत सारे प्रोफेशंस दुनिया में पैदा किए हैं. So a lot of people will have to fit into those areas. So for them, I think there are certain other professions, and I think they can perform very well into it.
Right.
तो वो I think उसमें they can do well.
और Navy का क्या होता है? So what is the training or what does it look like? Because we know so much about the Army, right? हमें पता है कि how it starts, आपकी initial training कैसे होती है, आप कहाँ जाते हैं. Navy ka it's not that much public news, so I want you to tell us ke how it happens. Initial training kya hoti hai? Are you taken down to the sea or what happens?
Initially when we started off, तो it was right after the matric. तो उस वक्त चूँकि जूनियर कैडेट कॉलेजेस होते थे जो कि अभी ख़त्म कर दिए गए, तो इट वाज अ जूनियर कैडेट कॉलेज एट मनोड़ा वी जॉइंड. और उसके साथ फिर 2 साल का हमारा वहाँ पे बेसिकली मोर ऑफ एजुकेशन है और लेस ऑफ द मिलिट्राइजेशन है. बट देन वी गॉट शिफ्टेड टू द नेवल एकेडमी. और नेवल एकेडमी में 3 टर्म्स होती हैं हमारी 6 months की. दैट इज़ मिलिट्री ओरिएंटेड टू मेक यू अ मिलिट्री पर्सन. फिज़िकल एक्टिविटीज़ बहुत हैं उसमें, हर तरह की लीडरशिप के ट्रेड्स के ऊपर बहुत काम होता है. And then you go for your sea training for 6 months on ships. That is a midshipman time. Then you are made to work with the men on ships like they do. You live, you eat and work with them so that once you become a leader as an officer, you should have a complete picture of their hardship, their limitations, and their inadequacies, so that you are able to lead them. तो अगर आप पहले से आके ऊपर चले जाएंगे, you will not have the knowledge of what hardships they go through.
Also the empathy, I suppose.
Yes, of course.
बिल्कुल,
And the
बिल्कुल.
teamwork you need to generate on board ship, because ये बहुत छोटी सी जगह है जहाँ पे आपके 200 के करीब 150 के करीब नफूस होते हैं, जो your men and your officers. So you have to motivate them, you have to bring them to a level where they perform.
And when you're on the ship, तो किस किस्म का काम हो रहा होता है? Like, tell me about your experience जब आप, when you were on the ship and you were going through this training. What are some of the tasks that you have to do?
Yeah, like cleaning the ships.
Okay.
डेक क्लीनिंग की जाती है, चिपिंग की जाती है, पेंटिंग की जाती है, रोप हैंडलिंग की जाती है, जो बेसिक्स हैं जो शिप के ऊपर किए जाते हैं. और इसके अलावा इसी तरह के काम हैं जो कि हमारे नीचे हमारे जो सेलर्स हैं वो करते हैं. तो वो उनके साथ आप यू बिकम पार्टी टू इट एंड यू डू इट. नाउ इन द स्कॉर्चिंग हीट ऑफ से 45 plus temperature, if you are scrubbing the deck which is at 50 plus degree and you are bending and doing the work, the kind of heat is on you and the kind of work you are doing, it is tremendous in terms of hardship. So until unless you have not done it yourself and properly, of course, so you cannot understand what kind of problems they are into it.
Right.
How much hydration they require.
Right. Or your training, it's for all naval officers?
Yeah, it is. Everybody has to go through
Everybody
it.
has to go
Everybody
through it.
has to go through it.
So you start as that, and then you can get up to the level of the chief of naval staff, I suppose. That's the highest
Yeah,
level.
that's the highest.
That's
4
the
star.
highest level. उसके दरम्यान में क्या क्या levels हैं? What is the trajectory look like? I'm asking this because, you know, personally, like for example, I know कि army की trajectory क्या लगती है. How does the naval trajectory look like in Pakistan?
अच्छा, नेवी में थोड़ा सा एक मुख्तलिफ ये भी है कि बिकॉज इट्स अ वेरी टेक्नोलॉजी इंटेंसिव प्लेटफॉर्म्स, सो दैट इज़ द रीज़न आर ट्रेनिंग पार्ट इज़ अ लिटिल लेंथी and a little more knowledge based, I would say, because here you don't need a physical requirement in terms of fighting.
Right.
Here you require more mental resilience under stress.
Right.
For that you need a lot of training. So iske baad, after getting your watchkeeping certificate, that is a kind of license to once you get through with your commissioning after 2 years, then you are placed on board ships for then you go to the different schools. You have some training patterns in that, in the Johor, in PNS Bahadur, and once you have completed that, then you come back for your watchkeeping certificate.
Okay.
That's a kind of driving license that you are safe to operate the ship.
Okay.
Your navigation practices, seamanship, and all these, they are you're groomed, and then you are interviewed by an independent board.
So this is the second step after your training?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is from where we start. And then you have, from here, once you have got the watchkeeping certificate, then you have options for you, that you would like to continue in the general service, you would like to go into some specialized field. Specialized field are the aviation, the submarines, the marines, the SSG. So in these categories you can choose to go into.
Right.
Like I did, I volunteered to be a submariner, so I went toward the submarine side. So from there then I chose to go into the submarine. So my entire career then was mostly linked with the submarine service.
Right. And so when you made that choice, how was that? Were you going down to the seabed in those submarines, or were you operating the entire submarines? How does that process work?
Again, because these are specialized fields, so you go again as an under trainee.
Okay.
So initially you will have test. In that you have a physical test in which you will have your audio ground tested under pressure, that your senses are working under pressure,
right,
through a chamber test. And then you have some interviews in which psychologically they would test you out. So similarly they have for the pilot, similarly they have for the SSGNs, and for that matter for the Marines also. So once you're through with it, you undergo the training process in the our submarine training school. From there again we come back, we do again our competency certificate. That is about 9 months, 6 to 9 months. And once we have done with it, then we take first step as independent on board submarines. And then we have a natural progression in terms of different supply officers, the navigating officer, the weapon officers, then the executive officers, and then the commanding officer.
Right.
So these are, we keep going.
Right, right. And so we spoke about these different, these different routes that you can take. And Usme, you also spoke about our capabilities, our naval capabilities. What do those capabilities look like? I mean, of course, as much as you can share कि हमारी नेवी की जो capability है वो किधर stand करती है? What does it look like? Again, we know so much about the army and the military capability, the military might that we have. On our naval front in the seas, what does it look like?
I think we can gauge this very question from our latest episode with our eastern neighbor. ये ऑप्स बनियान मरसूस के हवाले से, तो उसमें दो चीज़ें ज़हन में रखने की ज़रूरत है. One is that we are a nation not poised for aggression. We are a peaceful nation. तो हमारी जो डिफेंस की ओवरऑल स्ट्रैटेजी है वो that is defensive in nature.
Okay.
That we should not be so weak that it invites aggression. Because it is said that weakness invites the aggression.
Right.
So you should be able to, at least you should have that kind of. But at the same time, जैसे अभी Air Force ने माशाल्लाह they did a marvelous job. Army did it its own area, and same goes for the Navy. So our Navy has been such a potent force in terms of selection of platforms, training, and its overall strategy against the aggression.
Right.
That during this entire episode, the other party did not have the courage to place any ships towards us. So that was our success. और यही चीज़ होती है डिफेंस की, कि डिफेंस, best defense is that the other party get defeated without fighting a war. And that's what we did.
Right. And so during a war, because you've touched this topic, I want to understand what sort of a role does the Navy actually play? So it would be very simple to say that you are protecting the coast and you're protecting the seas of the country. But what does it look like? Protection, what does that mean?
एक तो जैसे आपने कहा कि नेवी के प्राइमरीली जो रोल्स हैं उसमें सबसे पहला रोल तो ये है टू प्रोटेक्ट आवर सीवर्ड sovereignty, then ensure seaward trade is continuously plying, and third now is coming up the to ensure that the sea governance in terms of crimes which are being committed at sea, they are tackled with.
Okay.
तो उसमें वॉर का पहला है कि अगर, और प्लस इफ देयर इज़ एन एग्रेशन फ्रॉम एनीबॉडी, द नेवी शुड बी इन द फोर फ्रंट टू डिफेंड आवर सी फ्रंटियर्स. तो इन तीनों डायमेंशंस को अगर आप देखें तो उसमें द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट इज़ एक्चुअली टू इंश्योर आवर सी लेन्स आर सेफ फॉर ट्रेड. क्योंकि हमारी 90% ऑफ आवर ट्रेड इज़ थ्रू सी. अगर ये बंद हो जाती है तो हमारे मुल्क में जो वॉर फाइटिंग कैपेसिटी वो भी रिड्यूस होगी, एयरफोर्स की और बाकियों की। ना सिर्फ इसके साथ हमारी जो इकॉनमी है उसका बहुत बड़ा शेयर चूँकि सी के साथ है तो वो भी बहुत हेवीली डेंट होगी। ऑलमोस्ट अबाउट 80 to 90% ऑफ आवर ऑयल्स हाइड्रोकार्बन्स आर कमिंग थ्रू सी।
राइट।
वो भी एक बहुत बड़ा प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट करेगा। तो सोसाइटी की जो डे टू डे लाइफ है उसका टोटल डिपेंडेंस ऑन सी है, सी ट्रेड, सी बॉर्न ट्रेड पे। और उसको सिक्योर रखना और इंश्योर करना कि वो हमारे इलाके में टू एंड फ्रो मूवमेंट सेफ हो, दैट इज़ द पार्ट ऑफ द नेवी।
Right. And so, Ahmed Saab, there's, Pakistan, India happened, लेकिन दुनिया में और भी जंगें चल रही हैं, there's wars going on. How are the sea routes disrupted because of that, and what sort of impact does Pakistan have on us because of these global wars that are going on?
इसमें that's a very good question to understand what is happening at sea at the moment. सी रूट्स का जैसे आपने कहा कि पहले तो ये वी शुड अंडरस्टैंड कि हमारा जो 60% इम्पोर्ट एंड एक्सपोर्ट है दैट इज़ टूवर्ड्स और ग्रेटर वेस्ट, दैट मीन्स यूरोप एंड अमेरिका। इनके साथ हमारा जो ट्रेड है सी बॉर्न वो तकरीबन 60% वहाँ से है, और इसी तरीके से अराउंड 40% इज़ टूवर्ड्स द ईस्टर्न साइड। तो उस हवाले से बाबुल मंदब पे जो हूतीज़ का सिलसिला चला उसकी वजह से सी फ्रेट चार्जेस जो होता क्या है कि आपके शिप की इंश्योरेंस हुई है,
ठीक है,
वो इंश्योरेंस बढ़ जाती है, वो इन टर्न्स आपके सी फ्रेट्स बढ़ जाते हैं। तो दैट इम्पैक्ट्स योर एक्सपोर्ट एज वेल एज इम्पोर्ट बोथ। और वो आपको नज़र आता है जब आपकी डे टू डे जो चीज़ें हैं उनके अंदर आपको राइज नज़र आएगा प्राइस में।
राइट।
So if you have if you have a potent navy, so they can go into these areas and protect your shipping. उससे उनको इंश्योर करने की वजह से आपको जो सी फ्रेट्स हैं वो नॉर्मलाइज हो जाते हैं। दैट्स हाउ द इट इम्पैक्ट्स। और हमारे एरिया में भी ऐसे ही होता है।
ठीक है। Ahmed साहब, I also want to understand that हम लोग often we hear कि जो गवादर सी पोर्ट है that's a blessing in disguise, और वो उसकी बहुत ज़्यादा potential है, and of course it's being developed so much under the CPEC initiative. What does the potential look like, and what is that potential, क्या मतलब क्या है उस potential का?
एक तो नेचुरल लोकेशन है,
okay,
ज्योग्राफी डिफाइंस योर इम्पोर्टेंस। तो उस इम्पोर्टेंस में ये पोर्ट जो है ये ऐसी जगह पे है कि जहाँ पे इस एरिया के हवाले से गल्फ़ के अंदर जो शिपिंग ने जाना है उसके लिए एक अल्टरनेट डेस्टिनेशन अवेलेबल हो जाती है। जो बड़े शिप्स हैं दे नॉर्मली डोंट वांट टू गो इनटू दीज कन्फाइंड एरियाज। तो अब उसकी वजह से बिकॉज इस एरिया में कोई पोर्ट अवेलेबल नहीं है, अब तो खैर सलाला भी अवेलेबल है, डुकम भी अवेलेबल है जो ओमान की पोर्ट्स हैं। तो इसको हम कहते हैं ट्रांसशिपमेंट।
okay,
ट्रांसशिपमेंट में ये है कि बड़ा शिप आके वहाँ पे अपने कंटेनर्स को या कार्गो को स्टोर कर देता है एंड इट गोज़ अवे, और जो छोटे शिप्स हैं वो फिर उसका कार्गो लेके दे गो टू द रिस्पेक्टिव कंट्रीज।
okay,
सो दिस इज़ मोर वाइबल फॉर देम, बट इफ़ दे हैव टू ट्रैवल टू ईच पोर्ट बिग शिप्स it's not economical for them.
right,
So this is a port geographically located at a place which can provide one.
okay,
Number two is transit trade. Now transit trade is linking the port with the countries which they don't have the sea, like the Central Asian republics, like Afghanistan. So they can be linked to this port. So उसमें जो trade routes बने, one of the trade routes is CPEC. Not these trade route but multiple trade routes can be created.
okay,
तो जिस पे अभी गवर्नमेंट ऑफ पाकिस्तान इज़ वर्किंग वेरी विगरसली, सेंट्रल एशियन रिपब्लिक्स को बड़े अच्छे तरीके से एंगेज किया हुआ है, एंड आई थिंक दिस पोटेंशियल इज़ गोइंग टू बी एक्सप्लॉयटेड वेरी सून। उसमें इसको जो नॉर्मल जब इसको एक प्रोजेक्ट के तौर पे लिया गया 70s में. So at that time it was gauged that it should be able to produce about $10 billion
Right.
to the exchequer of Pakistan.
Right.
So that is exactly the same which is the Suez Canal is contributing towards Egypt.
Wow.
So it is a Suez Canal on land for Pakistan.
Amazing. And if we were to fully use the potential of our ports and of our coastline, what can the future look like?
I think if you talk about the entire coast and the maritime industry,
Yeah.
not only it is the ports, we need to make smaller ports also. We need to introduce some more ports. That is number one. At the same time, we need to, हमें in ports को, we need to adopt the best practices of the ports, which is normally nowadays the buzzword is the smart port.
Right.
So smart port operations के लिए, we need to introduce the technologies which are more AI driven and broadband, a lot of other technologies are there which needs to be incorporated, and less human intervention is to be there, more automation.
Right.
So because time has to reduce, time is money for the ships.
Right.
So they have to stay lesser time and go away. So इस तरह की टेक्नोलॉजी को इंट्रोड्यूस करना है, और इसके साथ साथ we need to go into two more dimensions, which is ship construction and ship maintenance.
Right.
Then is the ship recycling.
Right.
So all these, I think they have to be seen in the same context. तो उससे आपकी फिर इसके साथ साथ आपका tourism है. Maritime tourism has not been incorporated as yet into the national economy. उसका जो potential है. तो इस तरीके
When
से.
you say maritime tourism, what do you mean?
Maritime tourism starts with the sports is one. That means the sailing, the boating, high speed and all that. Then is the player fishing.
Okay.
But beside that is the diving. Diving is a big industry. And I can say with confidence that Alhamdulillah, Pakistan is one of the few blessed countries which have the coral reefs.
Wow. Okay.
And that is a heaven for divers.
Yeah.
If you must have seen the movie Nemo,
Bilkul.
in that the coral reefs, how colorful they are, and what kind of exotic fish and the livelihood is there.
Right.
So for them, I think the divers, it's a huge industry.
Right.
So that is where we can tap. Then there is some medicinal value of some plants which are growing underneath. On our eastern side, a lot of things are doing with that.
Right.
So इस तरह के बहुत सारे avenues हैं जिनके अंदर it's about 40 plus शोबे हैं जिनके अंदर maritime से related which can contribute towards the.
Ahmed Saab, what about the shipbreaking industry? I mean, उसको भी बहुत ज़्यादा criticism मिलती है, and I think there's been a reduction in how many ships are coming to the country to be broken down. A lot of it is also because we're not compliant with a lot of international rules. How is the government working on that? How is the Navy working on becoming more compliant?
इसमें we had the edge in the Asian countries earlier on, and we were the topmost shipbreaking industry. So what happened is, of course, the best practices they changed, and now these are the green practices.
Okay.
After the passing of Hong Kong Convention laws.
ठीक है.
So those are norm में इनका application हुआ, and it was initially not a compulsion, but after its ratification now it has become a compulsion.
Right.
So per force we have to go into this. So we started a little late, not little late, I would say too late.
Too late.
तो हमने इसको काफ़ी देर से इसको स्टार्ट किया. So in the meanwhile बांग्लादेश और इंडिया ने अपने यार्ड्स को काफ़ी सर्टिफाई करवा ली. हमारा सर्टिफिकेशन प्रोसेस इज गोइंग ऑन. I think by end of this year, about 6 yards are going to be certified.
Right.
तो ये बहुत ज़रूरी है कि इसको रिवाइवल. अच्छा, दूसरा पार्ट इसका ये है कि ओवरऑल 100,000 plus ships are plying at sea,
Right.
out of which 30 to 35% of this shipping will be scrapped in next 10 years.
Okay.
For the reasons they will have to be converted into green shipping.
Okay.
So those ships which have already passed end of life, तो वो सारे scrap होंगे. तो that is a big business which is coming to और बहुत सारे countries में ships जाएंगे. So if we gear up to certify our yards for compliant with the Hong Kong Convention, there is another Basel Convention, and plus there is European Union rules as well.
Right.
तो उन regulations के इन तीनों के साथ अगर हम अपने आप को certify कर लेते हैं,
Right.
there is no I think nothing stopping us, because we become the first country after the crossing the
Right.
Suez Canal and the Red Sea,
Yeah.
जहाँ पे you will get this business. और इसके बाद आगे चलता है इंडिया and then goes to the Bangladesh.
Right.
So we need to tap that, और इसके ऊपर गवर्नमेंट ने काफ़ी काम किया, and hopefully we will be recovering from this loss.
Right. Another buzzword almost that we keep hearing is the blue economy. क्या मतलब है? What does the blue economy mean, and why are we talking about it so much?
Blue economy is again a realization of human beings that maritime resources needs to be exploited with responsibility so that sustainability is achieved.
Right.
Environment is not degraded, ecosystem is not disturbed, and it is preserved for the future generation also.
Right.
तो ये 3-4 उसके main points हैं.
ठीक है.
So उस हवाले से whatever is being done at sea is to be taken under this paradigm. Earlier on it used to be called maritime economy.
Okay.
और अगर आप इसमें ये sustainability के elements ले आते हैं, environmental protection के elements ले आते हैं, जैसे कि green shipping मैंने ship breaking industry की बात की.
Right.
Now it is called the ship recycling industry.
Okay.
Why? Because now the ships, those will be constructed, will be 100% recyclable.
Oh, amazing.
This is what, और जो already बन चुके हैं उनको हमने उसी तरीके से dispose of करना है, so that it does not create a negative impact on our environment.
Right.
So the overall is that the blue economy is anything and everything which you do with this concept, it is a blue economy. Fishing भी अगर आप करेंगे तो उतनी fish लेंगे जितनी produce हो रही है.
Okay.
Not more than that. Otherwise, the cycle will be reversed, and those species will get extinct.
So it was a sustainable model,
Yes,
long-term sustainability.
Exactly. It's a sustainable model.
Got it. Ahmed Saeed, what are some of the other big problems that the maritime sector does face in your experience? You've spent the last 4 decades in the industry, in the sector. Kya hai some of the bigger problems that do still persist?
On top of list is the visibility of the potential of maritime economy.
Right.
That is number one. Number two is the political will. Until unless we don't generate a political will to integrate this potential into our national economy, वो नहीं हो सकता.
Okay.
ठीक है. और तीसरी चीज़ है taking the successful models, introducing the best practices. Usme bhi we have hindrances because of our past practices. There is inertia, there is an opposition of new technologies introduction and these kind of things. I think we will have to learn fast on this.
Right.
We have to go very fast on this track.
Right.
Otherwise we will be loser.
Right.
And last but not the least is the human resource development, particularly in this direction. So इस area में हमारी human resource development is a little weak, not a little weak, very weak. Legislation के part को हम देखें या provincial और national level की policies की longevity को देखें,
Right.
तो इस तरह के बहुत सारे issues हैं जिनके अंदर भी I think this present government is doing a tremendous work. I must appreciate.
Right.
और बहुत सारी policies, about 10 policies are into change now, number one. And number two, they have brought in Udan Pakistan program, in which they have introduced the blue economy as one of their pillars.
Okay.
And they're expecting about by 2030, 6 billion hours to be extracted out of the blue economy.
Wonderful.
So this is a good start, I would say.
Wonderful.
At least we have started off.
Right. And on this, I mean, as I said, like, it's a special 14th August episode. I want you to give the youth of this country some advice, some words of wisdom, anything that you'd like to share, that you've learned perhaps through your experience. Kya hai wo cheezein that you could share with the younger people of the country?
I think the best of the best which I could give them is the quote of Maulana Room. He said that yesterday I was clever.
Right.
I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise. I am changing myself. So that means the change has to come from within us.
Right.
So learning is a process which is every day, every moment, and every time, which calls for changes in your lifestyle also. So we need to be focused on our dreams, distribute our energies. Nothing comes easy, I would say, in this world. I always say that if you are going easy, that means you're going downhill.
Right.
So the altitude is defined by your attitude. So if your attitude is firm, you're focused, your energies are being directed towards that, I think nothing is in this world. The example which I had already given about the Michael Philip, he actually what he did was, first thing what he did was that the person who had won 7 gold medals in the previous, he was the highest gold medalist. So he learned about his life. And he said if he is practicing 7 hours a day swimming, so first I'll do is I'll start 8 hours per day.
Right.
So the hard work was the first step.
Right.
Rest is the focus.
On that beautiful note, thank you so much, Ahmed Saeed Saab, for being here, for taking out the time to be at Pakistan Observer. Thank you for the wonderful conversation.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
You.